Chapter 5 The Abyss. When Minju awoke, he found himself in a small windowless room. The walls were padded and the only light came from a small barred window in the door. His head pounded and his body felt weak. As he tried to sit up, he realized he was in a hospital gown, his wrists and ankles shackled to the bed. Panic surged through him. Where was he? How long has he been here? And most importantly, how could he escape? For what felt like weeks, Minju was kept in the dark, both literally and figuratively. His only visitors were nurses who administered sedatives and a doctor who asked him endless questions about his mental state. They kept telling him he was in a psychiatric hospital, that he had suffered a mental breakdown and that he needs to rest and recover. But Minju knew better. He hadn't lost his mind. He had been betrayed, silent and locked away to keep the organization's secrets safe. In the rare moments of clarity when the drugs worn off, Minju tried to piece together a plan. He knew he had to escape, to find a way to expose the truth before it was too late. But the drugs, the isolation, and the constant monitoring made it nearly impossible to think clearly. One day, as Minju lay in his bed, staring blankly at the ceiling, he heard a faint knock on the door. The nurse who usually brought his medication entered the room, but something was different this time. Her eyes darted around nervously and she whispered as she approached his bed. "Minju, listen to me," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm not really a nurse here. I'm part of the resistance. People who know the truth and want to help you." Minju blinked, trying to focus through the haze of the drugs. Was this another trick, another attempt to break him? But the woman's expression was genuine, her fear palpable. "We don't have much time," she continued. "We have been watching you, waiting for the right moment to get you out of here. Tonight, we are making our move. You need to be ready." Minju's heart raced with hope and dread. Could he trust her? Could this be his chance to finally escape? Before he could respond, the woman pressed a small vial into his hand. "This will counteract the sedative. Take it when you are alone. And when the lights go out tonight, be ready to move." With that, she turned and left the room, leaving Minju alone with his thoughts and the vial clenched tightly in his hand. As the hours dragged on, Minju weighed his options. He knew this could be a trap, another ploy by the organization to break his spirit, but it was also his only chance. He had to take the risks. That night, after the final round had been made, Minju swallowed the content of the vial and waited. Slowly, he felt the fog in his mind begin to lift, his senses sharpening. The drug had kept him docile, but now, with his mind clear, he was ready to fight back. When the light flickered out, Minju sprang into action. He used the tiny metal shard he had hidden under his mattress, something he had secretly sharpened over the weeks, to pick the locks on his restraints. His hand shook with fear, but he managed to free himself. Just as he had unlocked his shackles, the door creaked open and the woman from earlier appeared, dressed in street clothes instead of her nurse uniform. She handed him a set of clothes, whispering, "Put this on quickly." Minju did as he was told, changing into the civilian attire and following her out of the room. The corridors were dimly lit and the building was eerily quiet. They moved swiftly, the woman leading the way through a maze of hallways and down a flight of stairs that seemed to stretch on forever. Finally, they reached a heavy door that led to the underground parking garage. Waiting for them was a black car with tinted windows, its engine idling. "Get in," the woman urged. "We don't have much time." Minju hesitated for only a moment before climbing into the back seat. The woman slid in beside him and the car sped off into the night. As they drove, the woman handed Minju a small device. "This is everything we have gathered on the organization. Names, location, financial records, enough to expose them once and for all. But we need to get you out of the country first. They will be looking for you and it won't be safe until you are far away." Minju stared at the device, the weight of the information pressing down on him. This was it, the evidence he had been searching for. But even as hope flared within him, he knew the danger wasn't over. The organization was powerful and they wouldn't let him go easily. Chapter 6: The Final Showdown. The car speeds through the streets of Seoul, taking back alleys and avoiding main roads. Minju's heart pounded in his chest as they approached a private airstrip on the outskirts of the city. The plan was to fly him to a safe house in a remote location where he could begin working on releasing the information to the world. But as they neared the airstrip, the headlights of several black SUVs appeared in the rear view mirror. The woman cursed under her breath, her hand gripping the steering wheel tightly. "They have found us," she muttered. "We are not going to make it to the plane." Minju's blood ran cold. "What do we do?" "Hold on," the woman said, her voice steely with determination. She floored the gas pedal. The car accelerated rapidly. The SUVs gave chase, their engine roaring as they closed in. The car swerved around tight corners, tires screeching as the woman tried to lose their pursuers, but the SUVs were relentless, gaining ground with each passing second. As they neared the airstrip, Minju could see the small private jet waiting for them, its lights glowing in the darkness, but the SUVs were closing in fast and the woman knew they wouldn't reach the plane in time. She slammed on the brakes, sending the car skidding to a halt. "This is where we part ways," she said, her voice urgent. "Take the device and run to the plane. I will hold them off." Minju hesitated, his instincts screaming to him to stay and fight, but he knew that the information on the device was far more important than any one person's life. He took the device from the woman's trembling hand, his eyes locking with hers for a brief, intense moment. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice heavy with emotion. "Go," she urged, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and resolve. "Don't look back." Minju flung the car door open and sprinted towards the waiting jet, his feet pounding against the asphalt. The roar of the SUVs grew louder behind him, and he could hear the woman revving the engine, preparing to buy him as much time as possible. As he ran, the jet crew saw him and lowered the stairs, but just as he reached the base of the stairs, he heard the screech of tires behind him and turned to see the SUVs barreling towards the car he had just left. The woman's car suddenly derailed, slamming into the lead SUV, causing a deafening crash that echoed through the night. The impact sent both vehicles spinning out of control, and for a split second, Minju saw the woman's face through the shattered windshield. She looked at him, a final, fleeting look of determination, before the SUV exploded, engulfing both vehicles in flames. Minju's breath caught his throat, but he forced himself to turn away, knowing that every second counted. He sprinted up the stairs and into the jet. The doors sealed shut behind him, and within moments, the engine roared to life. The jet sped down the hallway, lifting off into the night sky just as the remaining SUVs swarmed the airstrip. Minju collapsed into his seat, his heart pounding, his mind reeling from the events that had just unfolded. He stared at the device in his hand, the weight of it feeling like a physical burden. He had just made it out alive, but at what cost? The woman had sacrificed herself so he could escape, and now it was up to him to ensure that her death and the death of countless others would not be in vain. As the jet climbed higher, the light of Seoul twinkled below like a distant memory. Minju made a silent vow. He would expose the organization no matter what it took. He would bring their corruption and cruelty to light, even if it meant risking his life all over again. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more chapters. Bye.